challenge for people on my level, and the mayor's level, the council members level, the school members level, to argue and figure out who controls it so we get it in the neighborhoods. So we're making progress, but it takes time. But just remember, a lot of these underlying issues that exist have been there for a very long time. And I think it's focus on them, like the mayor's concept of complete communities does matter. From the county's perspective, we're doing as much as we can with the lens of equity when we invest money. Even with the next round of funding comes from Congress, they put more of a focus on equity to make sure some of those small businesses get the money. On the county side, just yesterday, the mayor and I talked a bit right before we voted on it. We're going to put up about $15 million of our emergency fund because we have it. And we're going to do with an eye towards equity. You got to focus on people, as I referred to, catch the early bus. Not just the ones who have a business, but people who have to clean the restrooms and that kind of thing.
The county will use their money to help fund people pay their rent, but they're not going to use federal funds so that they can help undocumented immigrants. Does the city have something similar in place?
The city will be using some of this for its federal dollars for a rental assistance program, but we don't have the dollars to set up what the county is doing. I think they're pulling from their reserve, and I applaud them for that. The city of Houston, unlike the county and any other county in the state of Texas, has been operating under a revenue cap since 2004, and we've come bumping up against it since 2015. And so we're using our reserve to simply make sure that we provide essential services and core services to the people in the city that need it most.
Okay. Next question is from Kate.
So one second.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to respond to your question because the question extends beyond the boundaries of Harris County and the city of Houston. This is a question for the federal level to give considerable thought to. And the truth is, we are trying our very best, many of us, to make sure that regardless as to how you got here, in this time of crisis, you're going to get the health care that you need, you're going to get the attention to sustain you, because what impacts any one of us can have an impact on every one of us. So this is important. And with reference to the inequalities that were mentioned, these circumstances, unfortunately, are treated as one-offs. They are siloed. And as they are siloed, one in each silo, we don't take them on in the systemic world that they exist in. These problems are systemic. And if we continue to try to treat them as an individual problem for an individual, we don't solve the problem. So we have a responsibility at the federal level to pass legislation so that we can treat systemic problems in a systemic way. Thank you, Mayor.
What's your message to churches and places of worship since Governor Abbott's order will allow churches to open Sunday?
God is every living room. God is at your kitchen table. God is in your bedroom. If you pray to him, he will hear your prayer and he will respond. Don't feel compelled to go to any building. You know, he certainly will be at the building, but I will tell you before you leave your house, if you open up your heart and mind, he'll meet you there too. So engage in social distancing. God wants to save you, not hurt you, not harm you. And so that's because he's omnipresent and ever and located everywhere. God will not put you in harm's way. That's what I would say. And you know, let your spirit be your guide.
The preacher just spoke.
The next from Houston Chronicle that your proposed
And the
budget.
church said,
Amen.
You said during City Council that your proposed budget may dip below the standard 7.5 ending fund balance. Can you elaborate on that plan?
well, we as you know, we have a huge hole in terms of, as a direct result of COVID-19, our sales tax loss could be around over $100 million. And you know, unless we get flexibility, and I know where Congressman Al Green stands and is trying to assist us on every level, unless we have greater flexibility to utilize the federal dollars that we've already received, we're going to have to dip into our reserve in order to take care of our first responders, in order to make sure, for example, that city services are not reduced and we can move forward. This is just a sign of the times. I mean, COVID has impacted cities like they've impacted restaurants, corporations, oil and gas companies, you name it. We've been impacted. And combine that with the understanding that the city of Houston was already under a revenue cap. So we didn't just lose sales tax. We've lost municipal fees, parking fees. There are a number of revenue sources that would come ordinarily come to the city of Houston that we have not been able to, that we're not going to be able to receive. So our financial policies say that we should always maintain a reserve of 7.5%. And ever since I've been mayor, we've always done more than that. This time, though, we may have to dip a little bit below 7.5%. And of course, that's with the approval and the support of our council members. So they will get the budget the second week in May and have to evaluate it. But these are tough financial times for municipal cities as well as counties.
Just two more quick questions.
Univision, does the city plan to establish a COVID-19 mobile test collection site on the East End and Denver Harbor? We understand that there's a COVID-19 testing site at HISD's Barnett Stadium in Southeast Houston.
Well, the goal is for us to take these mobile units and to take them all over the city of Houston. In fact, I was in conversation with Councilmember Robert Gallegos in District I, and so he certainly has been advocating placing mobile units in, for example, in his district and other places on the East End. I was in texting back and forth with State Senator Carol Alvarado. She's asking for testing sites for mobile on the north side and in that end. The goal is to take these mobile units and to take them all around, and hopefully we can get some more. Right now we have one city mobile unit combined with, for example, this mobile unit is from TDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management. So hopefully we can get several more.
Okay, mentioned rental assistance program coming before City Council next week. What do you have the details of that plan that you can share now?
Well, not the members of City Council before I discuss it in the public. I mean, they have ideas too, so it's not just my idea, it's our idea. So give me an opportunity to talk to Councilmember Evans Shabazz and to the other 15 others, and then we can go from there. The goal is to have something before the members of City Council this coming Wednesday.
During your conversation with Montgomery County Judge about the reopening issue on Friday, what was his reaction to your concerns?
Well, he said that he was simply confused by the governor's order, that the governor's order as it was written did not say that bars and clubs and gyms could not open. In his reading, it simply said that you have to avoid getting the virus from these items. And so in his interpretation, the county judge's interpretation from Montgomery County, it did not say that these businesses had to remain closed. And so he did say that the governor was going to clarify his language today. I hope he does. But my conversation with the county judge in Montgomery County was simply to let him know that what he does in Montgomery County impacts what happens in the city of Houston and in Harris County. Bear in mind that the first community spread that was identified in the city of Houston was at the rodeo, at the barbecue cook-off, by a security guard that lived in Montgomery County. So you can't just open up Montgomery County and expect for the virus to stay in Montgomery County when people are driving down I-45 into the city of Houston and vice versa. So I want him to do what's in the best interest of Montgomery County. But at the same time, if what happens in Montgomery County impacts Houston, Harris County, then I think we need to have a conversation, and we did last night. And if what we do in Houston, Harris County impacts Montgomery County as well as others, then I think it's important to have a conversation. So last night, we had a very pleasant, positive conversation because I think we all recognize that we're in this together.
Thank you all.